And we are back for another development tour with myself, Kaz from Property by Kazy. Today we're in Southwest London and we are going to be going around a 5,000 square foot, 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom, fully refurbished to an immaculate standard luxury home. Now this is a £2 million development. So if you want to find out how a development like that is delivered, make sure you watch to the end of the episode. I'd normally shout, let's go! But it's raining outside. So while I'm not doing anything and you're not doing anything, make sure you subscribe.
So for those of you with a keen eye, you'll remember Akash from his property in Barnet. That was an amazing home. And I think it's fair to say you may have outdone yourself today. Now, we're going to take a walk around this property. So Akash, where should we start?
Why don't we start where we are? Formal living.
Okay, let's go. So double doors, really nice. So talk to me about this property. How many bedrooms is it?
So it started off as 3 flats. Now it's a single dwelling, 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and just under 5,000 square feet. The idea was to chop it up into smaller units, but the market around here is for larger family homes. GDV actually was higher for a family home, probably slightly cheaper to build family homes. So that's what we went for.
I think what's really weird is a lot of the time in the comment section, I get people saying, you developers are destroying homes. Yeah. I know somebody's gonna say, you developers are destroying flats.
Yeah.
So you can't win, but hopefully you enjoy this tour anyway. So, I think my favorite part of the formal living room is the coving, and I noticed it in other rooms as well. How much do you think you spent on coving throughout the property?
So coving's quite important in a property like this, so we allocate a healthy budget of around just under £10,000.
Nice. And I know we say like formal living room,
yeah,
but for me, like they always say like kitchens, bathrooms are where sell properties, and this is like my favorite part, I think, of the home. So talk to me about this area.
Obviously we've got a lot of space. Important features are a lot of fenestration, a lot of glass, bring the outside in, shaker kitchen. Someone in Southwest London, they don't want a modern flat panel kitchen. So that's super important. And then just an elegant dining space, which can actually double up if someone wants to put their children snug and put the dining space in the middle here. They can do that. They can even put the dining table over there. There's flexibility.
This area, the property had a basement, but it was nothing like this, was it?
No, in fact, it didn't really have a basement. It had a natural lower ground floor, but that was probably 3 or 4 meters above where we're standing now.
How long did it actually take you to get out of the basement?
Pretty much a year. Like with anyone, like having a decent contractor is the most important thing. It makes everything gel together, and actually, I think basements are not that scary. We've added maybe 1,500 square foot down here, and typically the issues that people face is you just have a really big open space and people don't really know what to do with it. So it was super important that we break up the room and we add like this central fireplace. It just makes everything more homely because no one wants to walk down here and have this as like some big area that they've put a random pool table or a random tennis table in that they never use. So this gives it some like snugness, like here's where you're going to come and actually spend most of your time with your kids, like watching some TV or reading a book. And we added other spaces like the wine room, the office. Interestingly here, before, this whole space here was a wine room. Architect design, interior designer signed off as well. But when we came on site and it was built, and only when it was built, because even I didn't pick it up in planning or on drawings, it was like, well, do we need a 15 square meter wine cellar? Like we're not in Mayfair. And so what we did is we made it a lot smaller and we added a boot store. Actually, the boot store was always meant to be there.
Yeah.
But we added this just storage space.
I think that's one thing you've done really well. You've got a lot of nice functional spaces. So like I said, rather than it being super open, and it's just, okay, how am I gonna make this space work?
Yeah.
I think particularly because you furnished it, because you've broken up the areas, people can walk in and say, this is where my Hoover would go. This is where my ironing board would go.
That's it.
Okay, we've got a place for our shoes. We've got our laundry room. We've got our plant room.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of predetermined, and really it's just like, well, what lamp do I buy to accent this, and what, you know?
Yeah, we're building homes that obviously people are living in. The primary thing we're focusing on is function, right? As long as we hit all those key markers, people are going to feel that when they walk in. They're not going to know, oh, cool, he's thought about where my Hoover is, but they're going to go, I can see myself living here.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. That's what we're aiming for.
That. So I think that's actually interesting. When building like a property like this, like prime real estate, do you have an end buyer in mind?
That's a good question. I think that you're kind of finding the balance. You certainly need to know who your target market is for someone like this. 30 to 50, probably 35 to 50 year olds with a young family. So you need to keep that in mind. You can't tailor everything to one type of person because one person wants A, another person wants B. So you've got to also keep it quite flexible and open so that spaces can be used in multiple ways, like we talked about with the kitchen.
I think I always see examples of that. I think a lot of developers lean towards just what looks best on plans. They'll put their principal bedroom all the way at the top of the house because it's sort of out of the way and privacy, but not thinking a young family doesn't want to be above the kids. They want to be the protectors in the middle and have the other bedrooms upstairs. I definitely see that thought process throughout. Have, I guess, time frames. We spoke about, kind of work starting beginning of 2022, July, mid 2022. Have you, or do you ever consider, getting to a point where basically maybe somebody can pay a deposit at a certain point and then you build out the spec, or do you always just want to take it to market?
It adds a level of complexity that honestly I don't want to get involved with, because when you start having people deciding their spec, and I've done it before, I've learned, at least my experience is, people don't really know what they want. So I'd rather put my expertise into it and then bring it to the market and let people give it its value then.
Yeah.
So we've got our principal suite. We always put a lot of energy and thought into this place. Ultimately, the buyer of the house is the one that's living, is going to be sleeping here. So we really want to wow them. So of course, we make it big, we make it grand, we put a lot of features in, and we try and really just sell this dream on this idea of people seeing themselves in this space. What is put in here, the level of detail and quality and thought into this joinery, the handles, even like the thickness of the shelves, it all just builds this like picture of quality and feeling of quality that the buyer must give to the buyer.
Of course, I think, and it's confidence that I can buy it as just a turnkey finished product, and I just turn up and bring my clothes.
That's it.
Not turn up and, well, what have we got to do about the wardrobes? What have we got to do about X, Y, and Z? And you see it when we walk through all of the bedrooms. It's 5 bedrooms, six bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a load of really functional spaces, whether it be in the home office, the wine cellar, It's currently being used as a yoga studio, but it would be very multi-purpose.
That's right.
There's loads of spaces that I think people could effectively make their own and make a home, which is, I guess, what your really ultimate goal is. Everything, means that it is a fantastic end product, just ready for somebody to come with their removal van and move in and enjoy the property day one.
GDV is 5.25.
5.25. Okay. So it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of property.
Yeah.
And in terms of your purchase price?
Purchase was 1.85.
Okay. And you bought it as 3 flats. I'm guessing you,
right.
At the time, you wouldn't now,
That's
but you
it.
benefited from multiple dwelling releases.
That's right, yeah.
On your stamp duty.
So saved £100,000 in stamp.
Which is always a bonus. And in terms of your cost of works?
They skyrocketed because we went through that period of material price inflation. So we're probably standing in just over 2.3 million.
And does that include your cost of finance, or is that
That does.
That includes your cost of, so that's all of your costs for basically delivering the project.
Yeah, but cost of finance is just shy of £500,000.
Yeah, which is very where you'd expect it to be. But despite that, you see time and changes in cost of materials, profit-wise for the project, still profitable?
Yeah, it's still profitable. Of course, sale needs to be agreed. We're in talks, so until a deal is signed, we don't count our chickens, I guess. But yeah, sometimes we probably won't hit our margins, our expected margins, because we've had so many shocks. I guess sometimes there's downside risk, and we take that with our upside risk. So,
I mean, that's it. The reality is that if you can get out of a deal and still make a healthy profit, it may not be what you wanted on conception, but obviously taking into account market conditions, taking into account things you've had to deal with along the way, I think it's still been a really successful project. We're excited to see what you do next. We're excited to find out when you have got that buyer. I've got the person who's going to buy it in my mind. Yeah. So I'm going to have to check back with you to see if I actually got the right kind of, if I was able to predict the buyer. That has been another development tour. If you haven't already, make sure you follow Akash at Saha Properties. All his details will be in the description. If you want to learn more about the PBK community, those details will also be in the description. And subscribe to the page, as we'll have another development tour each and every week.